good to go? So I'm calling this meeting to order for Tuesday, March 28th. Can we do a roll call, members, please? Here.
Here.
Not here.
Here.
Address Brad's request first. I don't know if we need to answer this out. Brad Judge, who listens in on or attends virtually these meetings, made a request that he questioned the decision to have the Board of Zoning Appeals consider a variance for the PUD and that is not on the agenda for tonight, and so the short answer is we won't address it tonight. If Brad wants us to bring it up next April, we can put it on the agenda then. In fairness to Liz, since she isn't here, and she was the architect behind that decision, I think she ought to be here to explain why she thought that was the preferred manner of proceeding. I'm not sure I disagree with Brad's analysis that it also could have been done through the PUD itself, but we'll leave that for next month if he wants to bring it up.
Is it just a question, Jay, or is there a resolution that's hoping to be?
Well, when he questions whether it was even appropriate or legal to grant a variance. Well, we're granting a variance from a standard that does exist, and
Did they just take us?
Because we addressed that.
yes. So I don't think we did it wrong.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not saying, but I also would say, I'm not sure it's the only way to do it. And he has an argument why it's maybe not the preferred way to do it.
Yeah, and I think we talked about
We did so.
that there were alternative ways, so.
Okay. Anyway, and since I think Brad's listening in, he'll know that we are willing to address it further if he wants.
And I'll reach out to him also just to make sure that he does, in case he
Yeah.
isn't listening in right now. Out to him tomorrow, but
Yeah.
put that on April's agenda.
If he wants it.
Wishes us
So now I'll let you get started on the meeting.
Oh, no.
Slowing you out.
Oh, you're fine.
to. So, the first thing I'd have to go back to is the last meeting minutes, which was actually for the special meeting.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, or are we gonna do a voice vote?
Roll call's fine.
Okay. Mueller,
Yes.
Stacy Pagio,
Yes.
Yes.
and Chester Bankes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Will you take, so the first case is application CC 203 -00144, docket 0623 VA. Will you take us through that, please?
Sure. So, this is a variance request to allow 2 residential lots inside the town of Mulberry to be approximately 600 square feet each instead of the required minimum lot size in Mulberry. And then also they're requesting to allow a front yard setback from the alley right away along the east of that property to be 6 feet instead of addition sites, which are two parcels, are located inside the town of Mulberry on the north side of West First Street, being South Elm Street. Front parcel has a dwelling on it, and it is currently undergoing an extensive remodel. Rear parcel has been and still is in common ownership with the front parcel. So the two parcels together meet the minimum lot size square footage. But the petitioner desires to have the two lots replatted and then separate them from each other. And reorient them from, right now they're and they're wanting to possibly have that platted to where they'll run in order to build another dwelling. In order to separate the two parcels from existing dwelling, for the existing dwelling to legally sit on one lot and to have a legal building lot for another dwelling, a lot size variance is required. The petitioner is also requesting to be permitted a front yard setback variance from the alley right away along the east. Build a new dwelling 6 feet from the edge of the right of way instead of the required 15. Was presented, the entire proposal was presented to the February 14th, 2023, during the regular session with majority vote, expressing support. 4 members in favor of supporting the proposal and the variance request, and 1 member voting neutral. If these variances are approved, the petitioner will then from the APC, the lots could be separated. And then you can see as you can tell in the top photo there, you see the 2 parcels and how they run. And 2 parcels to the east of it, of course, they don't have a problem there because they're on a corner. They've got Elm Street and they've got First Street. But whereas these 2 parcels here, there's no way you could build on that back parcel unless it's an accessory structure for the front, but to have a separate lot there. And below you'll see that photo down there. Now this is the east side of the 2 parcels, and then in the next photo is the west side of the 2 parcels, which has the existing dwelling. And that's the dwelling that, like I said, that is in there. So the analysis for a variance request, the approval will not be safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. So if the request of the lot size, there will still be adequate room for approved for a replat. There are standalone lots by the town of Mulberry, square footage that has less square footage than what is this request. But the new dwellings, and their new dwellings have successfully been able to fit on those lots. So like, for instance, I think it's like properties west of this one, there was a lot there that was set on the corner, and it was a standalone lot, and I think it was like 7,200 square feet. So, but they were able to build a small house there. Setback variance from the alley right away would leave a setback the same as what the side setback is for Mulberry. So, if it wasn't the right of way there, it was just a side property line, then the alley appears undeveloped and it is hard to determine for sure. That partly or fully on your property. Was advised to, it would be within setback from the alley right away at the same time. So because we were not able to determine on the status of the neighbors. Let's go ahead and ask for it at the same time. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property including the variance will not be affected. There is an existing home. Lot size variances are and separating the two lots. The intent to build another dwelling. Need is particularly important to town of Mulberry. In this case, to assist with increasing their revenue that will go toward much needed improving infrastructure. As for the request of the setback and the requested setback is the same setback by property line. It would appear that were approved would adversely affect the strict application of impractical difficulties in the use of the material. Existing dwelling is located on lot in the if the lot size variance is due to being under 20 square feet per lot, and another dwelling would not be. The lot size is approved. Reasonable size and shape. So, consequently, and two parcels becoming separate. And I know that the petitioner is here present, and I know of at least one neighbor here present as well.
Okay, thank you.
What are the lot sizes? What are the dimensions of the existing platted lot?
They are.
It says 8,600 square feet, so I'm guessing.
But I don't know if I have it here in the notes, what I've got here. Each lot is approximately 8,600.
No, I was just trying to figure out what the sizes were, so 8,600, so they're missing it by, 1,040 feet. What'd they say? 1,400, I'm sorry, yeah. trying to figure out if you incorporated the, half of the rear alley and half of the side alley, whether you pick up enough square footage that you could actually replat it without a variance.
You'd have to vacate,
Yeah,
yeah.
but vacating there would probably make sense. But none of those alleys are ever gonna be built upon. Constructed into alleys.
Is the petitioner here? You have anything to say, anything you'd like to say, sir?
No.
Okay,
I'm good with whatever you guys want to decide.
okay.
Like, yes, but yes.
Yeah, okay. Is there anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Well,
If you could please, I'm sorry, I meant to mention this earlier, so if you could please, because of, I know it sounds like you can hear right here, we've got microphones up here by us, but if you do speak, you need to go. And please mention, or please tell me your name, so I can put it in.
My name's Eric Philpott. We live in the next door. The alley is not maintained by the town at all, but it's been my driveway since before that we owned the house. So we use the driveway, but it goes back and it just curves into my garage. So if the alley wasn't in use, then I would have to tear up yard to make a driveway probably back to my garage. It's already existing.
Okay.
You have something to say too, babe?
I just don't feel like there's enough space to add another resident right there on that little lot. Like he said, we've used that alleyway since we bought the, how many?
8 years.
8 years, we've lived there 8 years. And the reason we bought the corner lot was because of all the space we had from our neighbors. We have a pretty good sized lot. So we really hope you guys take in consideration what that would do to our property if you allowed them to add another home on that lot. Yeah. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? No? Okay. You guys have anything to add?
So it looks like I think we can see where the alley would be undeveloped between the two lot lines, correct?
It looks like at least part of that is
Potentially
it
used,
is being used, part of that alley is being used, it looks like, from the aerial.
Mhm.
part, yeah.
Sort of, and it's hard to tell with trees and shadows.
So what are we looking at on the alley here? Where are we at?
Well, it looks like there might be
I didn't
something
make
with the
alley.
covering there. Right there's the alley. The alley's between the two lot lines.
Yeah, okay.
And it looks like there might be an RV parked back there or something.
The RV's gone, and trees are all, most of the trees have been removed as well too, so.
Okay.
It's obviously if it was a more current aerial, you'd probably be able to see more,
So
but
Uh-huh.
this is their
there is
house
a
here.
driveway back to
Correct.
about, not the whole half a block, but probably a third of a block. There's gravel that's been upkept for as far as, longer than I've been there.
Okay. Do you have something to add, sir?
Yeah, I was wondering,
Hold on a
Oh,
second.
yes.
Can we get our comments up here by the microphone? There we go.
Oh, no, you're good. I
Yeah.
always forget.
yeah, when I very first got there, actually that place, it was like really trash. You know, now that we are building the house, and the reason I wanted to build the other house is because I think it's like wasted space there, and I can understand what he was saying, but you know, I mean, I'm trying to do my work too, and at the same time, I'm trying to make the place look a lot better. Because when I first got there, it was nothing but trash. So I think I've been working hard on that place, trying to make sure, you know, everything looks good. Same thing, my houses, when I do my houses, I mean, right now you don't have any proofs, but the way I build my houses, they look really nice. So I'm just trying to make it look a little better, the place. Except that the trash, when I got there, I did a bunch of trees, bunch of trash, a bunch of stuff. So
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
There was a lot of stuff there, yes, but the house had been abandoned basically for 5 or 6 years with no one living there. And it's an alley, so it's, none of that is under my control to trim someone else's trees or to do any of that stuff. So yes, it was under disrepair, but it wasn't because of us. It was because the lot was vacant. No one was living in it.
Yeah.
So, had nothing to do with if someone was living in the house. They're doing a great job on the house. It's beautiful. We just really don't like the idea of cramming another house in between the two, because it seems to us like it's an awful lot of space. That, it'd be like me saying I want to put another house in the other front yard. I don't know where everybody will park, honestly. There'd be a lot of parking issues. So, sorry. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. You guys have anything to add? I mean, it does look awfully tight.
Well, I was looking here, I'm not sure I understand what is the plan to access it, the back lot?
They're gonna
From the
replat it.
alley?
They're gonna replat it, so, right now, these are these ways. And the question that's gonna happen is if we give them the variance, they're gonna replat it, they're gonna ask to replat it to another organization's gonna replat it, right? Area Planning Commission, yeah. So they're gonna ask, have it replatted that's just part of the, staff report here.
Is there a way we could do it to allow them to still have their space for their driveway and not cram it?
Well, they still would have, if you look at their driveway, it's only partially into what the alley is. So it's not even a fully maintained alley. It's partially, it could be partially vacated, just like this back alley here is not in use, and that could be fully vacated if they really wanted to. If you had the back part of the alley, if it's 10 feet wide by 100 feet long, that's 1,000 feet right there, 1,000 square feet there. And if you consider the size of the lots, they're very similar in size.
Yeah. Could we make a motion for like a special exception?
We would make a motion for
Well,
a variance. This
Yeah.
is a variance here. We're gonna make a variance. So, and the variance, the way they're asking for it right now is, usually have right away from the alley another 15 feet. And they're asking just to give me 6 feet from the alley that's not being used or partially being used.
And one thing you could do is grant one variance and not the other too. You don't have to, it's not both or none. It could be grant one and not the other.
And 6 feet is what Mulberry requires, 15 feet is what the county requires, right?
No,
how's
Mulberry
it go?
requires 15. but-
15.
Yeah, for a
15 from the alley, but only 6 if it's a side,
side, right.
not an
Okay.
alley.
Okay, so it's 15, now they're asking for a variance from the front. Is that what they said here? No, it's from the
No.
side.
It's from the side. It being an access or a right of way on that side, that's where you get the front yard. So that's how that
Okay.
works out.
That's gonna,
Okay.
If they didn't have an alley there running beside them,
Uh-huh.
and it was just a regular, then that would be a side. But whenever you have a right of way next to you like that, this couple here, they live on a corner, so they
Okay.
have 2 front yard setbacks, so they would have the same setbacks as
Gotcha.
well from each
Okay.
of those roads. But this one is just an alley.
Okay,
if you were wanting to keep them further away from the neighbors, one way to do it is not to grant the variance on the side.
and on this particular lot, it looks like the garage is right up against the alley anyhow.
Yeah.
So there's no 15-foot
No.
setback or 6-foot setback or, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, I understand, not,
That's probably.
yeah.
It's very close. I look at it.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah, right.
I don't know that I have a huge issue with it, to be honest with you.
Potentially could improve the neighborhood, he's doing a very nice job to the house next door
Yeah,
too.
I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah.
They mentioned something about difficulty with their driveway. Except from narrowing, it's gonna narrow the alleyway a little bit.
It's really not gonna narrow the alleyway, it's just gonna narrow the setback. So, they're asking instead of
Yeah,
a
right.
15-foot
Yeah,
setback,
exactly.
make it a 6-foot
Yeah,
setback.
yeah,
I think what they meant
You're right,
was
whole narrow.
if they were to vacate that, then they would have to move their.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're,
That's not part of this.
Mulberry would
That's
have to
not
take care of that
our
part,
deal.
right?
Yeah.
Mulberry would have to take care of that
yeah,
part.
Mulberry would have to decide that.
Okay.
That's strictly in their bailiwick, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the variances as requested. Let's see, I'll make a motion to approve application number CC 2023-00144, docket 0623 VA, according to the findings of the staff report, which were incorporated in the motion by reference.
Second.
Can a roll call that?
Yes, please.
Um,
Yes.
Yes.
Scott Hessenberger,
Yes.
Chris Baker.
Yes.
Okay. So, variances, both variances approved. For your subdivision, okay. Next step, you know, go get those split. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you
Yep.
can stick around or you can go, it doesn't matter.
I really appreciate it, thank you. Thank you, guys have a good night.
No, we didn't make a motion to waive the filing deadline.
That's for the next one. Yeah, that's.
Oh, it's on top of it. Okay,
Yeah, that's
okay.
next, yeah, the one we got next.
I was looking at the,
That'll be for the next one. So you can go ahead and do that if you want.
okay. Like to make a motion to waive the filing deadline, for application CC 2023-00159, docket 0723 SE. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Sure. Grant Muller,
Yes.
Stacy Pettigrew,
Yes.
Scott Hessenberger,
Yes.
and
Yes.
That's
don't
o-
worry, Grant.
No, that's okay.
Mine too.
No, that's okay. That is
All
okay.
right, so, the next, request is from Ian. And he's requesting a special exception for class 2, home occupation for an auto repair shop in an accessory structure on the same property as the petitioner dwelling, okay? So the petition site consists of 1.774 acre lot south side of, East County Road, 357 Kirkland Township. The petition site is surrounded by farmland, except for the vacant parcel that is adjacent to it at the south, which does not appear to currently have any type of farming activity taking place on it. The petition site has a dwelling that the petitioner lives in, and attached accessory structure where the proposed repair work will take place. The petitioner intends mainly on motorcycles, class 1, home occupation. He will be the sole proprietor. Okay, and I wanted to note that, I know up in the request it says auto repair, but, you know, holding to just motorcycles or whatnot, out there getting a call. And we're gonna be like, hey, you're working on a car now, you know, so that's the difference there. All right, so, you'll see the next photo there that shows from the road there, and but it's to my understanding where he's going to be. So, the following criteria that must be met. Provisions in which it will be located and all general regulations in this ordinance. Home occupation, class 2, may be approved by a special exception when it is determined that the following standards are met. The home occupation shall be by a resident of the premises, no more than 5 employees not residing on the premises, and then one separate home occupation. This standard does appear to be met. Lives in the dwelling and will be the only employee for the business. This is the only home occupation. Superior indication of the home occupation. Residential character of the premises shall be minimized. This standard appears to be met. The proposed auto be performed inside the existing use of the dwelling, accessory building, but obviously no more than 5 vehicles or pieces of equipment other than automobiles shall be operated from or stored there overnight and shall meet section. So this appears to be met because the petitioner proposed plan is to primarily work on motorcycles, are not typically just overnight. Any outdoor storage of materials and equipment or goods effectively screened. Any sales or displays of articles produced, this shall be effectively adjacent property. So, for this type of business, typically you don't have just for repairs. The use may increase vehicles. So no complaints, like I said, have been received on any increased will drop off a vehicle waiting on it. No use shall create noise, vibration, smoke, dust. All work will be conducted inside. Sign shall be discuss signs, but there is a standard that they'll have to meet if they decide they want to do that. Meant for a home occupation is not transferable. They get approval for this. They sell the property later on, or rent it out, or what have you, it will not. Area occupied by the home occupation shall be such size to meet all applicable standards. So then the final standards here are the proposed use shall not involve condition that may be dangerous, noxious to any other property of persons herein. So the proposed use appears not to create or cause any of these adverse conditions. The proposed business will be conducted inside the accessory structure. There are changes in the future. Not from you guys, but. So the proposed use shall be sited, oriented, and landscaped to adjacent buildings and properties does not adversely affect. Petition site is on an attractive and well-maintained property. Will be attached to the building, the business is performed in. And the building does mesh with the proposed use does not appear to affect value of the adjacent property. The proposed use shall produce a total environmental effect which is consistent with and not harmful to the environment of the neighborhood. The proposed location for the home although 3 dwellings other structures and or mature trees that block the view of the accessory structure that the petitioner is proposing to perform. Proposed use shall organize vehicular access and parking to minimize. The petition site, as you can see. Proposed use shall promote the objectives economic development. Provide for a variety. Consequently, staff recommends to the following conditions, which are normally the same conditions that we usually put on occupation class 2. That there will be no new construction that meets all zoning and building codes, and that as a reminder, the special exception, like all home occupations cannot be carried over to a new owner or to a new location.
Thank you.
The petitioner
Oh, it's not done yet.
did send us an email here, but has approved for his son who's here to
Is the petitioner here?
Yes.
Would you like to say anything?
No,
Oh, you don't want to say anything? You don't want to say anything? Okay, that's fine. Is there anybody else in the crowd that would like to say anything? Nope. You guys have anything to add?
Well, the property sits, it's a nice-sized property, and it sits pretty much all by itself. I don't think there'd be any interruption to any of the neighbors or anything like that.
I'll say I agree.
It's, and it doesn't go with, it doesn't go with a change of ownership.
Yep.
So it seems like a very easy one to approve.
Is it intended to be a full-time business?
My name's Curtis Smith. I'm representing my dad, Andy Smith. It's not meant to be a full-time deal. It's more of like weekends, kind of evening kind of
Okay,
things.
yeah,
So.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Now, I'm just kind of curious, Kat. It talks about how many vehicles normally would go past there if the business would be approved and stuff like that. I think there's some limits on it, right? Suppose that business would grow to be something big. Would it have to be moved?
If we got complaints, longer meeting the standards that we have.
Okay, all right, all right.
You know, to have the kind of traffic that you're envisioning, you probably would have to have more employees than you could have, you know, in a home occupation, because you're limited to what, 5? You know,
Right. I understand. I'm just asking the question to get some good background.
yeah,
And this is meant to allow something to grow, homegrown businesses and stuff like that, which, help the county and help people, so.
In hopes that, yeah, that they would grow and maybe later on would have.
Right,
place
right.
elsewhere
Yeah.
that would benefit the
Right.
growth.
Yeah, so it's a good way to do a startup or something like that even, perhaps.
one thing that I would suggest that you consider is to broaden the no accumulation of junk and debris on the exterior grounds to also prohibit outside storage.
Could you say that
Because
again?
it looks like he has enough room that he would need to be storing, because otherwise it wouldn't qualify as junk and debris, but you could have numerous motorcycles stacked out in front if you allowed outside storage. Or even some outside storage of parts.
Don't they have to be screened?
Yeah.
I would say most of the time you're not gonna leave some of that stuff outside.
You
It'd get
wouldn't
rusty
think
and,
so,
yeah.
but
Well, so,
what you don't want are parts cycles.
so with the
Yeah.
recommendation,
Yeah,
the
here on
recommendation
that
also
page,
includes,
Any,
If they do have to be screened.
yeah, any outdoor storage of materials. From adjacent properties and roads.
well, and with the recommendation from the staff, there are also 2 other conditions that are, put in there. That there will be no accumulation of junk or debris on the exterior grounds. That's one, which I think is what you're talking about. And new construction and uses must meet all zoning and building codes if restrooms are added and septic and approval. And then it says it does not go with another owner.
Yeah.
So, I think that.
I think
adequately
that
addresses it.
meets, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. Like to make a motion to approve application CC 2023-00159, docket 07-23-SE, with the special exceptions or special conditions. There will be no accumulation of junk and debris on the exterior grounds, and then that new construction and uses must meet all zoning, building codes, and then if restrooms are added, septic approval.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Grant Mulder,
Yes.
Lisa Pinnigo,
Yes.
Justin Burton,
Yes.
and Dr. Baker.
Yes.
Okay, so then he's got his approval, alright?
Thank you.
And if he wants to do a sign, if he's not sure of the sign. And I'll let him know what the size I'm not going to do, I have to look at my ordinance.
Okay. Thank you.
Alright, thank you. You all are welcome to stay, or you can go.
Thank you.
It won't hurt our feelings if you go.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to make a motion for the waiver or, for the filing deadline for application CC, dash 2023 dash 00164, docket 08 dash 23 dash SE.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
I'm just curious on the filing, we'll waive these filing deadlines. Have all the notices been sent out?
Yes, they're all sent out in the time that they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be filed 20 days before the meeting.
Yep.
And then, the notices have to go out 13 days before the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, notices all go out.
Yeah, I figured that was correct. I was just checking.
Good question.
Yes, very good. Okay, roll call vote on that. Brent Mueller,
Yes.
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 So, this is special exception request for the existing mini warehouse self-storage operation that is located on, Prairie Avenue, just outside of Franklin. So, the petition site consists of 6 side of South Prairie Avenue, between West Freeman Street and West, Armstrong, and Section 9 of operation was granted a special exception to operate the current business in November of 1995. A copy of the minutes from the previous sent you the copy of that, but it was supposed to. Anyway, we didn't wanna confuse you with what was. The petitioner is proposing to expand the current operation to build a new 42,000 structure for climate controlled storage. So you see the map there, and what overview right there. So before, now, those are the ones that are up in front. Okay, the first photo, the next photo on there is the proposed, and then I've just got some photos taken along the front of that, so the current operation there. So the proposed use conforms to the district visions in which it will be located in all general regulations. Existing self-storage business is listed as a use 12.08 on the table A in the Unified Development Ordinance, and is a special exception use for general business in the district. There are no specific development use in the ordinance, but some buffering, which is landscaping, and minimum parking standards will be required. The parking standards for this use upon if there will be any employees there were buffering standard conditions made part of the initial special exception approval back in 1995 when the operation. Proposed use shall not involve any element or cause any condition that may be dangerous, injurious, or noxious to any other property. Petitioner contacted area plan inquiring if additional approval was needed. The petitioner was informed. So they will will need to request a new approval in order to use beyond what was previously. The proposed use shall be sited, oriented, landscape. The relationship of buildings and grounds to adjacent properties does not impair health, safety, or does not values of the adjacent property. So the expansion to the proposed further toward the middle of the property and behind the front, but improvements to landscaping will be addressed as part of the, meaning that if there's anything that's out there now that isn't going to meet what they need to expand, they're gonna have to put. In addition to ensuring all proper landscaping out of the new building will be required to meet all state and local fire codes. Kevin Catron with the Frankfurt Fire Department and fire inspector for this area has noted that the building will be or otherwise supply the required gallons as part of precaution. Without adequate water supply, the fire department fight a fire in the structure. Kevin has provided fire safety codes for customers. Proposed use shall produce back which is consistent. The business is already existing. The proposed building will be located behind the front existing storage. Therefore, the expansion should not cause any adverse effect. The appearance will be consistent with what is already there. There have been any complaints by the area plan office maintained properly. The proposed use shall organize vehicular to minimize conflicting traffic. There are already access drives adequately accommodate the occasional customers parking needs. Parking is needed, in the size. The proposed use shall promote the objectives of this ordinance shall be consistent with. This proposed expansion will really not be what is already there. Was the first build. The only difference will be adding a new building that will not be readily seen from the that will remain blocking much of the view. Consequently, staff recommends east and south separation with that all state building fire codes are met, and if that will be put in place. Adequate water supply must be by the applicant that meets and Frankfurt Fire Department's ordinances. We do have someone here that's representing the applicant, and also, from the fire department. If you have any other questions about fire stuff. And then I believe there's,
Okay. So who here is it representing the applicant?
Brett Hickey with Kimley Horn, design civil engineer, working with Storage Rentals of America.
Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, just thank you for your time.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions or concerns that public or the commission might have.
Okay, thank you. I was just,
My name is Rosie Roush, and I live next door. I'd like to know where the 6 acres are.
Of the lot?
6 acres. I have 2.5 where I live, and your lot is no deeper than mine, and no wider. And it's not as deep because you don't have, I have, where you're starting yours and going back to the railroad tracks, that's not 6 acres. I don't see how it is. If it is, then I've had more than 2.5 for 30 years.
Can I show you the map for
Sure.
the site?
So did you purchase anything coming off of Freeman Street? How do you get to this property?
You would access it off Prairie.
If there's no interest to it from Prairie.
There's an entrance to the area to the front of the site.
So you're gonna, from the, where you're built at right now, you're going to take that back, that, your fencing down and go back that way, because there's no interest that you can get to it right now from Prairie.
So the development would proceed. Right now, the access points would go through existing storage buildings, so those rectangular buildings.
So you're gonna go back here, that's how you're gonna enter.
Not correct, no, there's a. Site plan review.
Yeah, I've tried to get that field mowed for I don't know how many years. Nobody ever would mow it. Were you aware of that?
I'm
That would be,
Not
that would
representing the
actually as a code violation, that should be.
I
addressed
tried to
us.
get that taken care of, and nobody ever paid any attention. You mean it's a code violation not to mow it?
No, you need to address us with that. Our
Why don't I
office
address the
meeting-
person that owns it?
Well, this is a meeting to see if we can.
Oh, I know, but what I just said,
Right, but
wouldn't I
for
address?
that there, you would need to have contacted us, and we could have, done something, contacted them, get them to mow or what.
I contacted them. I talked to the owner.
sorry you had a bad experience so far. Last time I was out there, it did look mowed.
It's never been mowed. It weeds and fell over.
Gotcha. So this is South Prairie Avenue.
Okay?
Here are the 4, 5 storage buildings on site.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually access off Prairie. Here is the parking lot. And then there's security gates that only
Yeah, but
customers can enter the site through. Where then they enter and load up their storage units on the side of these buildings. And then the proposed building is that. Are you following that?
well, where is the property that's the proposed that you're talking about?
It's on the same.
Where is it on here?
It's this darker shaded border. Here is the lot that they own.
Yeah, but where are you going to build this new stuff?
Essentially in this gravel area where currently boats and trailers are parked, and then in the grass area in the back. So if I go to the next sheet, so here's existing building, existing storage units, and just to the east of that is where proposed building will go, and then the stormwater management pond.
So the field that is behind the house that's next door to me, there's a field right behind that. That's not where you're building at?
It's all fenced in still to the storage property, if that's what you're talking about.
I don't think it is.
There's an existing like chain link barbed wire fence goes back there.
Nope, that's
Yeah,
not where it is
The
then.
plan is to build with inside the fenced-in area.
Well, I think the fence right now is terminates at the gravel, so part
Yeah.
of that fencing will be demoed
Yeah.
for the building, and then the fencing will continue
Yeah, I get you.
But they own, I guess to my point, they own that land behind the current gravel fencing.
The house that sits next door to me,
I guess I'm not sure where you're, are you
I
to the
have-
north or south?
I have all the other buildings that are right next door to that house. I have 5 barns there.
So are you north of storage property or south?
I'm north. Yeah.
Okay. I don't, they're not developing your land.
Well,
Yes.
I'm not in my land, but in the field that sits next to my land. That's been vacant ever since I've lived there.
Correct, that is their property that they have
But
owned
that's
and
not where you're
maintained.
building.
If we're speaking of the east field from the storage units currently today, then yes, that is where the building will go.
Is that what you get? I don't get that. I'm sorry, because I didn't know that there was anywhere else they could build except right next to my property. Right, well, the storage units are not, that land stands right behind the house that's next door to me. But I don't know that they own that, because that was not owned by them to begin with. That was owned by, the guy that had the, painting, Dave, I can't think of his name.
Hold on a minute, I'm confused. So the only question I've heard all this is the plot
It's
size.
where it's being built. That's
Okay.
what I want to know.
Well, you mentioned something about 6 acres. So have we got that clarified?
Yeah, because this,
It's
when,
all right here.
Yeah, so
This building's going right here.
so if there's 6 acres.
So in
of-
fairness to the applicant,
Yeah.
he's doing, his 6 acres as stated in here is accurate.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So then your question is what? What is your concern?
My concern is if it was being built next to my property,
Uh-huh,
I was very concerned about it because of drainage and everything else.
okay.
And it's never been maintained. I've lived there 24 years. I fought to get that field taken care of all that time. I pay to have my field mowed all summer long. I pay over $500 to have my field mowed and kept all of it down. I could never get anybody to mow the field next to me.
So your concern is drainage or
My
upkeep?
concern is that was where this building is gonna go. There is no 6 acres there. That was my question to begin with. Where is the 6 acres?
Okay.
And I still don't know where it really is.
It sounds like it's right behind.
Yeah, that's my question.
There's a professional land surveyor, and I'm sure the county zoning data is accurate for the land that they own.
Are you gonna be in town? Not tomorrow. I would like for you to come out and show me where you're talking about this being built.
I can go after this meeting and drive to the site.
Okay, I will do that, because it's a concern of mine. I have a lot of invested out there. Never mind, it's my problem.
Are you, just so they understand, where is your property? Is it north or south of the
North.
petition site?
It's north of their business. There's a house between us. There's a small house between my property and the storage units.
Okay, so she's
Jeez.
up here.
I'm gonna pull it up on Google Maps.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think she's this one that we don't see much of in our picture. And she's worried that it's gonna be built here, I think, instead of over here in the.
Can
gravel.
you show me on that?
you have beacon.
I don't have internet access in here. So is this yours up here?
Oh, it's hard for me to tell you yes when I just look at that. So this is a storage.
This is the storage unit.
And I'm no, well, there's a.
There's a
big-
house in
right here.
between, and
I'm-
then you're this one.
Yes, I go all the way back to the tracks.
And he's saying that they're building their new building here in this gravel where there's boats and RVs parked.
See, that's not-
You can use this. This is Google Maps if you wanna look. This is. So where's your house?
I'm all that right there.
This is yours.
All those, yeah, those barns and everything, that's mine.
Okay. And what they're proposing is back here.
So I think he's saying building here in this gravel. where
Okay,
the
because
Okay.
see,
boats
the
and
house
stuff.
that sits next door, there is a vacant lot behind that house does not own.
No,
It-
but the storage people do according to this.
Yes, I was
outline.
always told it belonged to the storage units.
Mm-hmm.
People next door were out there with RVs all weekend, running in that property. It's not their property, it's their property. I don't have any idea why they would do that, but they did. With-
Okay, so on Beacon here, which is our tax record we go by, it shows on here that they have 6.116 acres.
All,
And
is
that's-
that what they own altogether?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought that meant they had 6 acres left that they were gonna build on.
No, this means the whole parcel here is 6
Okay,
acres.
okay.
Yeah, the whole parcel there is 6 acres.
So it sounds like you're telling me that that field that's next door to my property is not gonna be utilized. That's what I'm understanding you to say.
Is this your property here? Yeah, this is your property right here. So what is it on your property here that you're concerned about? This is your property here.
Okay, there is a field right here that would probably start about halfway back. Is this the house next door to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a field back here that goes back, and this is adjacent to all my property.
Right, and they're
And-
going to build,
See, that is not
Right.
where I thought it was gonna be built. I thought it was gonna be, because of the way that it,
But he owns back all the way, doesn't he?
yes, he owns all the way down.
Yeah, so,
Is this, just for clarification, this is where you're building?
That's why you have Google Maps.
So, this is where they're building at.
I mean, whether he's next door property
right here
or not,
was,
Here.
is the
doesn't
field.
stop him from.
It doesn't stop him, yeah.
So that'll
up in here,
maintain
you can see where they have some
grassland.
tracks.
That's
And
it.
that's
Okay,
part of her
it's not
concern.
been mowed forever.
Okay, well, if
talk
there's
to
a
them
problem
around
with that,
that.
I'll let you
tell
know.
us, okay, and we'll take care of it.
We're keeping, showing to keep that existing fence there, so like if you look at that, you can see that notch here now, right?
You know what, I'm just gonna make
Yes.
a motion, we
So we're
approve.
not proposing disturbance
Oh,
in there,
and Kevin, I'll ask
actually gonna
him.
maintain the
That's
existing
me.
fencing, so
Yeah,
I can bring it up to the
Did you give
owner.
anybody permission to ride
Yeah, I'm just,
four-wheelers back there?
jack around.
I'm just a civil engineer, I'm not actually, I don't
That
own the
happened all
property
this
or
last
anything.
week.
Excuse me, excuse me. I was like, can we keep this going? We can talk after.
Well, I was just a
Correct.
question I said.
No, I know. But Kevin, would you like to say anything, sir?
Well, I just wanted to know, I'm Kevin Catron with the fire department. I just had some concerns about the size of the building and not having any water there to fight a fire. So that's my concern. I brought it up to CAD about them needing to run me a main back there and give me a couple hydrants. So my problem is it's, I was just trying to figure out what their thought process is on it, if they're gonna fight me over it or they're gonna be willing to do it. Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I can speak to that. I think when we first talked to the fire department, that it seemed that the only water service available was about 2,500 feet north of the site at Prairie and Walnut,
Actually, I taped it off this morning. It's 874
874.
to the corner. From your sign to the corner is 874 feet.
Of water main extension to get to the site.
Well, to get to that sign out in front of your business.
Gotcha.
And then it'd have to, the other requirements by code is that it needs to be within 150 feet of that building.
I think an alternate approach that we've done on similar projects where water main extension wasn't so feasible and to the fire department's discretion, if it's allowed, is a well and underground storage tank system where you provide X amount of cubic, maybe 25,000 gallons of cubic feet of water, or 25 gallons of water underground for the fire department to access in the case of an emergency, rather than doing a 900-foot water
Okay.
main extension.
My concern is, we go off of a graph, size of building, square footage, and what it would take to put that fire out, and you gotta maintain for 2 hours of around, between 37 and 4,200 gallons per minute. So that's gonna eat up a tank of 25,000 or whatever it is pretty quick. And I know what everybody's thinking, you know, what's the chances of that? Well, I wouldn't have a job if, you know.
Yeah.
Kevin, what are they doing now? Does it meet fire code as it is now?
Well, we'd have to see, the whole issue would be, on my side of things, is we'd have to use a dump tank and run tankers. Well, to do that with a 42,000 square foot building,
Yeah.
that just throws everything into, there's not enough tankers in the county to
Yeah.
supply that.
So help me understand on the codes, Jay, what fire, I mean, are we talking about something they're gonna have to meet anyhow?
Well, that was my thought, is that, I mean, they're gonna have to get a design release from
The state to do that building
state, and
anyway.
it's gonna go through, and they're gonna probably, will that design release
They-
address the water?
They do not, sometimes they do not always address those issues.
Cause is it not gonna be required to be sprinkled then, I take it?
Well, I would love it, but I don't know that we could require it. The state will determine that.
Okay.
But I still, well, my concern is not necessarily that it's sprinkled. I would like it to be sprinkled. But, it's the fact of me having water back there.
Yeah,
And, our city ordinance state, if you're coming off of a main, you cannot dead end anything smaller than an 8-inch main. So it would have to be an 8-inch main off that corner back and then back into that building.
If we made the recommendation to approve the way it's written up right now, your requirements would have to be met by them to build the building. Jay, correct?
I have no idea on that.
let me see what,
That's part of the recommendations. An
Yeah,
adequate water
that's
supply
kinda
must be
what I-
provided by the applicant that meets Frankfurt fire needs per International Fire Code and Frankfurt Fire Department's
Well, I have
ordinances.
no more to say then, if that's the
Yeah,
case.
so your requirements would be approved, as part of the conditions.
Oh, no, no problem.
It's all right. I'm glad that you're asking. We'd rather make sure that we got the bases covered.
I was gonna say, I think,
Sure.
And that's
so
because
basically,
it sits
what
just
we're
on the edge
saying
of the
is
city,
we're
right?
gonna give a building permit if we
I mean,
pass it
It's
this
not
way
too far away
without
from
your
what they
having
just did
signed
down
off
that
of their
road,
plan.
you know, and then it goes down there.
More,
So it's not too,
yeah, okay.
I was say, I think,
And drainage board, I mean,
Right.
drainage.
yeah, all the rest of the requirements
Yeah, I
go
mean,
with it too.
we have to get either a drainage board waiver or drainage board approval on anything that we issue as well.
I'd
And
say-
they have to meet code, but I
I'd say the
understand your
special
concern
exception should
that
be able
the
to
fire-
meet
that-
everything.
That if they only approve the building plans and the building plans don't show the water main, the state may not address that issue.
Right, well, see, in town here, we have very good water pressure. Even a hydrant that is a three-way hydrant here in town, you're only gonna get about 1,500 gallon per minute out of it. The other issue would be, not only do I need one, I probably at least need 2 hydrants back there. On
Or the other
existing-
ones.
Yes.
I would say the special conditions meet that. Do you guys agree?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does. The recommendation with the conditions would be
I would
part of the
think with the
motion, will
conditions.
include his requirements. It
I'd
says
say the
for-
number 2 meets it,
Yep,
I would say.
yeah.
Okay.
The-
Kevin, forgive me, because I'm not an expert at all in fire codes, but is this being met, they have to meet state fire codes, or are they in addition to local codes?
It would be state, international, Indiana Fire.
And that could at some point be really less restrictive than what you might request?
Well, that's where I'm getting my information is from the state.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, some of the codes are city ordinances, which states that dead end in the
Okay.
and that sort of thing, which is, they would head south off that intersection, and go back in there, it would have to maintain an 8-inch, dead end.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I got you. Thank you.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, fire's not my specialty, so I'm just asking. You're teaching, thank you.
But I think the real issue, what he's saying is, the state of Indiana, when they do their building inspection, may not pick up that there is a fire code issue with water supply to the site.
That's correct.
So how do we make sure that that's met?
Well,
It's in the,
it's
The special exception.
in our conditions.
Yeah, but what you're saying is he can get a certificate of occupancy and not meet the conditions,
No,
or
That's
not
right.
pick up.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
can't get a C of O if they don't.
So,
If
so,
Kevin hasn't signed off.
so how do we
Well,
make sure it gets met?
They could have their plans approved,
Okay,
but if at the time, if there isn't adequate water hydrants there, then we're not gonna give a building a certificate of occupancy until
Yeah.
there is a sufficient,
so that process will include him signing off on it somehow?
yes,
Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Well, they won't get their permit until we see everything here that they've got.
The permit.
well, because, condition 2 covers it though.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, as it's written, it,
Okay.
I feel good about involving me when they get plans, and then we
Okay,
plans over,
okay,
and then
So they'll have to submit their plans to us for the permit. We call Kevin over to look them over to make sure what's on there is what he
Okay.
is wanting.
yeah, I agree.
all right.
Okay.
So you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do what we can to meet the requirements of the fire department.
yeah. Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve CC 2023-00164 docket BZA 0823 SE. According to the findings of the staff report, which are incorporated in the motion by reference, with the conditions that are also incorporated in the staff report.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Grant Mueller,
Yes.
Stacy Pettigrew,
Yes.
Hudson Lewis,
Yes.
and Mr. Bailey.
Yes?
Alright, so you just need to start submitting your plans for your, building, proposal and whatnot. That includes what he's requested.
That sounds good.
And Kat, did you also say that you would help the lady with the
Yes.
lot that's, has the trail on for the RVers? Okay,
And if there's overgrown grass out there, you gotta give me a call and I'll get it. 24 years.
well, Kat can come and help you.
Yeah. One of my favorite things. Trash, grass, and junk vehicles.
All right.
Okay.
We all done? Got a motion to adjourn?
No. Do we have any new business, Kat?
I don't think so, cause he already discussed this here.
Okay.
The only other thing is, our next meeting is April the 25th, and I don't have any filings yet, as of yet. Got a few applications kind of sorted.
Okay. Well, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I couldn't go fast enough. Couldn't go fast enough.
Oh,
Took it
Yeah,
this
no
second.
kidding.
are we putting that to all in favor, or?
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.